You're tired from trying to do it all and sacrificing sleep just to squeeze in one more thing into your day. As you do this, though, has it occurred to you what the true cost of it is? Drop a yes in the comments if this is a lifestyle that you are very familiar with. You're showing up at work foggy. You're rereading the same email 4 times. You're second guessing yourself in meetings. You're snapping at your spouse, even though all you want is connection. And when you finally get a break, you collapse, numb, or you pass out asleep and just sleep in as long as you can to being able to catch up. And that just doesn't restore you, though, because you're so tired and so depleted. That long night of sleep, it's just not enough because of how drained you've gotten. Sound familiar? So by the end of this video, though, you'll understand how your exhaustion is quietly sabotaging your ability to lead, love, and to think clearly. So you get to choose. Are you going to keep sacrificing sleep or finally give your brain the break that it's begging for? So hi, I'm Sharon McCall. I'm a stress recovery coach with Whispering Fields Wellness, and I help high capacity and achieving Christians like you to finally step out of survival mode and into the rhythms that restore energy and life. You were never meant to live on the edge and just in this constant hustle. That's just not what God had in mind for us. And I'm here to help you figure out how to refuel without sacrificing any of your success, or falling behind. So a lot of people have some different things that they think about sleep. So there's some people that I've met that are like in the camp of, I'll sleep when I'm tired. I've got eternity for that. I will catch up on a lifetime of giving up sleep. And that's why they so frequently just sacrifice sleep to being able to get more done. I've also met others where this lack of sleep and exhaustion, it's almost like a badge of honor. It's evidence of how important and how valued I am because I'm so busy that I don't have the time to being able to get enough sleep or to care for myself. I've even heard people bragging about how little sleep they can get by on in conversations when I'm at networking sessions. So what is your belief about sleep? I'd love to see. Drop it in the chats. And if you're catching this on replay or if you started this a little bit behind, I'll make sure to respond to everything that comes in the chat. I'd love to hear what's going on with you. So I want to sit down today and really challenge some of these beliefs. What if sleep is what really gives you the edge and allows you to live a fulfilling life? So test this for yourself. Think about a day that you were really well rested. Just go through your memories and pick a day that you were well rested and energetic. And hopefully it's not too long ago. How did that feel? Drop one word in the chat. How does that day feel? Now, compare that. What happens after you've had a bad night's sleep? Maybe it's how you feel today. Maybe it's another day where you remember you got like absolutely no quality sleep. By comparison, how did you feel? What's one word? Drop it in the chat. I'd love to see. You'll notice these are pretty strong extremes. And so I don't really want to get into all the complexities and the science of what happens when you get a good night's sleep. I think just as you went through your memories, you see what these benefits are for yourself. But I do want to just take a moment to kind of acknowledge some of these and bring these back up to your conscious minds so you can make good decisions. Personally, I find it's absolutely amazing how God has designed us. This whole rhythm of work and rest in terms of allowing our body to repair itself and recover, it's absolutely amazing. One of the things, though, that just kind of puts how your sleep and your brain go together, though, is your brain uses sleep as that time kind of to reorganize, integrate memories, and just process the day. and it clears through physically and with all the chemicals that's going on in your brain and neurologically when you're sleeping. But basically, just imagine this like your brain's like a computer. It's a pretty simple and common analogy. So you've got your files scattered all over your computer. You just like dropped them down on your desktop, in your documents folder, all over the place. And then the next day, don't you have some problems trying to find them because there's like no organization to it? So when you get a good night's sleep, part of what your brain's doing is reorganizing all of that. And then another thing that's going on when you're sleeping is like when you have all these different windows. I'm sure you're like me. I've got the 2 computer screens and I easily have like 15, 20 different windows open and a whole bunch of different applications. And I can tell when I'm starting to push the limits of it and the computer starts getting super boggy. So that's the same thing that happens with your brain. So if you're constantly processing and always on the go, mentally stimulated, in a lot of stress, it's like the computer with all of these different files running. So once you go through and you close out all the windows and you clear the cache every now and then, restart the computer, that's what sleep is for you. So just like you see the differences in your computer with just a couple of simple little maintenance things, that's what sleep is for our brains. It allows us to be able to maintain high levels of performance and to ensure that we're keeping our brain well rested. So think about that comparison again, just before I go off on a tangent, that comparison that you just did in terms of what was a good night's sleep and what was a bad night's sleep and how you felt the next day. Right? Got that in mind? So there's studies out there that show that just even one night of poor sleep, it can end up affecting your focus, your mood, your cognitive performance, your emotional control, your decision making. And that just doesn't impact just your work and the quality of what you're doing at work. It impacts everything, right? So now think about what happens when you do this night after night after night after night. Slowly, and you may not even perceptibly notice the difference between day after day as you kind of go down the slow decline in those different areas if you're not getting enough sleep. So going back into those memories. So think about that day when you were really well rested. Just trying to put these studies in action in your own life. Have you ever noticed the difference in what you're able to accomplish, your productivity, how creative you are, how strategic, how stressed you are? Tired people mean you get stressed more easily. Fewer mistakes. And when you're energized, you just naturally feel more confident, right? And you're able to engage so much better with the people and the relationships around you with your interpersonal actions. And when you think about that day, not just how you were at work, but at home, what was it like to being able to have the energy when you got home from work and had plenty of energy to enjoy your family life? And that's the value of rest. So anytime that you are not feeling like that, that's that cost of not getting enough sleep, of sacrificing it. So I want you to give a little bit of thought. So comparing to where you're feeling today versus that best day, what would be different in terms of your activities or what you're doing at work and at home, in your heart even, if you permitted yourself just to prioritize sleep just a little bit more? What if you got an extra half an hour of sleep a night? Just to start, what might you be able to do? And maybe it's not even, okay, that means I have to back up my whole schedule and find another half an hour in my day. Maybe it just comes from reorganizing your nighttime routine so it's easier to fall asleep. So maybe you go to bed at the same time that you currently do, but instead of lying awake and thinking through your day, you set yourself up for success so that you can go to sleep at the time that you actually get into your bed. What kind of difference would that make? And is it worth just a little bit of investment to sharpen your edge and to give your brain a break. Is it worth it to you? So you don't have to share the details, but are you ready to just try one shift in this upcoming week? So just type the word ready if you're ready. So it's up to you in terms of what that shift needs to be. And I want for us to pray on that so that you can be ready. And if you're ready, that you take that action so that you can invest in yourself and in your overall well-being. Lord, you've given us bodies that need rest, minds that need quiet, and hearts that need stillness. Help us stop seeing that need as weakness and start seeing it as wisdom. Help us hear your wisdom to understand. Where am I pushing past what's healthy? What truth are you whispering to me in the fatigue? Show us how to live with clarity, calm, and trust, so we can be healthy in body, renewed in mind, and strong in spirit. In Jesus' name, amen. If you needed that prayer today, do drop pray in the chat so I can pray for you this week. And as for all of you that put ready in the comments, you're going into my prayers to make sure you can take that one action. So I started this video by asking you if you realized what your tiredness might be costing you. Now that you've seen the signs and you've recognized the toll, this next choice is yours. Are you going to keep pushing? Are you going to start protecting your peace of mind? Your brain is just begging for a break, and your spirit is whispering to slow down. That's what's going on in your life. All of these things that you're feeling, it's telling you to slow down. So what if this week you let grace, not grind, lead the way? So you can keep running on fumes and hope the next week is different, that something's going to change, which is kind of the mode that you've been in. Or you can book a free call and I can help you to identify one area where you feel that rest is impossible, but might be your breakthrough. Just drop shift in the comments and I'll send you a link via private message. I want to make sure that you're able, if you're feeling ready to make a change, that you are equipped to. So next week in the live session, I'm going to end up talking about what rest at work really looks like and how to make wise decisions even when stress is high and everything feels urgent, so that you can steward your energy well. So until next time, give yourself a deep breath and give your brain the break it's been waiting for with just a little bit of extra sleep. And may grace guide you this week. Have a happy Easter. Have a blessed day until next time.